Okay, somebody else just popped in. We're gonna add them. Okay, I just need to keep track of people coming along. So, hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our upcoming fall season, 2021 girls volleyball season. We're hoping to have a great season, get back to things. Things will always, it's going to still look a little different. And I know a lot of folks have concerns. Our pastors have concerns. Our principals have concerns. And we are very lucky we're being able to move forward. I don't want to keep beating everything. Many of you have been on some of these calls, so please forgive me, but we continue to follow everything that's happening. I watch the governor's meetings every Monday, unless he calls a special meeting. We're following everything that's happening, all the different guidances. We check the websites constantly. Doesn't mean we're going to miss something. So always share. If you have a question, we could miss something. We look at everything. It doesn't mean that everything will apply. Even when it comes to once the season starts, or if you have questions maybe about rules or this guideline or that guideline, we're going with the ones that either the diocese puts out, our leaders put out, our state, federal. Judy Persicelli, the woman who needs no introduction, as I like to say, thanks to the governor. It's ingrained in my head. I think I hear it in my sleep. But all these different things, we look at the different sports associations. Unless something has happened today that I didn't catch, and I might seem a little punchy because I was here last night till 5 a.m. as we all dealt with this terrible storm. So, if I miss something, I just want to tip it off to everybody that we do look at all those things. Doesn't mean we're going to apply them all to us. It's we kind of look at them and see how they work for us. So as I get going here, just keep all that in mind. I hope all of you, thank you for giving me time tonight. I hope all of you are safe. Your homes are safe. Everyone's safe. If you've never gotten water and now you did, this kind of water, we all know it's going to go somewhere and find us somehow. I don't think there's a way to escape it. I know when I drove home early this morning, I was shocked from Kearney here to my home. I was shocked to see the way the cars were all still just abandoned and things. You've all seen it today. We've all seen it on the news. So I truly hope all of your families have survived and everyone's doing well and your homes are all as best as they could possibly be after last night's effects from the storm. And of course, I hope you're all healthy, and staying safe from the COVID and so forth. So with that all said, I'm going to just give me a second here. I guess we'll go right into the stuff here. I do have some stuff here to share and we're going to go and there again, it did it again. Hold on a second. Vic, you think I'd have that down to a science now?
Yeah.
Say here. Okay. And where did it go? Here it is. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Everybody can see that, I hope.
Yep.
I'll just increase it a little so everybody can see a little better. So I want to share with you. You may see something on here that you're saying, well, that should be on there. That should be on there. We are taking this step by step. Some of the principals that are on this call will tell you I've said that to them. I could easily put out a document that takes us all the way to November or takes us all the way to the end of the year, but we all know that could change. I kind of look at this like a principal or pastor. I'm preparing for everything. Some pastors are preparing because it's fall. If they see fall coming, and we all just came off this summer, so the good feeling is changing because we're all getting worried about what's happened over the last 18 months. At some parishes, even though that's not the guideline that they could currently follow, at some parishes, they're asking folks to maybe start wearing a mask again when you come to church, but they're making it optional. The diocese hasn't said to do that, but people are taking precautionary steps, just like the pastors and the principals who are saying, principals are saying, don't throw away that plexiglass. We may have to use that again. Let's not take that away. We may have to use it again. Even though many things are being told to us are not going to be put in place. But again, it's all how this gets dictated, right? We could talk the semantics all night long. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not trying to be arrogant or smart, but I think we've all heard the word sanitize by now. So I haven't, you're going to see some stuff in here. Again, this was just a rough beginning. Okay. And I'm pleased. Any ideas you want to email me and say, Tom, I really think we should include that. I don't think we should do this. This right now is just getting you started. By now, for example, in one of the other counties, next week, we would already be doing the scheduling. I don't think that county is even anywhere near where it should be, where it's been in the years prior to COVID. It seems like we're all kind of very slow getting out of the gate, and we're all going to have to, like I've been professing since the spring. Track and field was so successful, and summer hoops was so successful because everybody worked together. It wasn't, well, I'm this county and I'm that county. Well, everybody put all that aside and said, whatever we could do, and with the focus being our athletes, right? And even those kids who just come out and play with our programs and participate, and this might be their last and final time that they ever do sports beyond our doors after 8th grade. So I want to, we were that successful because we all worked together. So anyway, so with that said, this is right off the gate, right out of the gate. Number one thing is the new executive order. Coaches are now deemed as part of the executive order. You could go on and read the executive order if you like on the governor's page. And there's different parameters that it says, well, this, that. Don't bother reading it. Coaches are now part of this executive order. I know some of you have gotten back to me already because you saw it in my email, the athletic newsletter, and you said, Tom, we're going to have problems. We're not going to get coaches. I'm sorry. We want to keep everybody safe. We can't afford for our churches to close. We can't afford for our schools to close, and I do not want sports to be part of a problem. We all want this. We all want this to happen for all of the kids and all of our programs. So we can only take care of when they're with us and do the best job we possibly can. So, with Executive Order 253, these are all, I took right from their own thing. Maybe there's been a word changed here or there, but all coaches must show proof of vaccination. All coaches have until October 18th to come into full compliance, just like our schools are doing and so forth. If a coach is unable to do so, if they don't want to they're not going to get the vaccine even when practice starts, they're going to have to go get a test every week on the same day and bring back a test that's good for 7 days, that they are negative, of course. And that's what they'll need to do if they're committed to being coaches and they want to coach and they want to be by the kids. We respect anyone's wishes who don't want to, take the vaccine. I understand that. I'm not here preaching to anybody, but this is what we're asking of if you want to be a coach and we want to have these programs. Okay. If you're a school program, copies of the vaccinations have to be given and placed on file in your principal's office, and give them to him or her, or if the principal tells you, just give them to the office secretary, or some have said they want the nurse to have them. Then give them, ask your principal what he or she wants, and that's where they should go. And anyone who's got to turn one in every week, they should be given over as well. Okay. I have to, those of you that are on here, or if not all of you, they're the program directors or the person who's running the program for the program director or the principal and so forth. The person who does volleyball is not the same person who does basketball and so forth as far as organizing it. We need to make sure that this is in 150% in compliance and that we're doing it. I would not want to be that person that has the program that doesn't have the backup to show that this coach, this person didn't comply. I wouldn't want to be your program. So, and be you, because, you just got to make sure you take care of your house. Okay. Regarding practices.
Hey, Tom, I'm sorry. Rich Donovan just called, said Mary Ann Conboy is in the waiting room trying to get in. Can you see that?
I did not see that. Hold on a second. I guess I got to put this back down. Nope, I don't want to do that.
No.
Hold on a second. I don't know why it's not. Shoot. Admit. All right, just admitted 2 people. Now let me see if I can get back to where we were. Oh. Okay. I gotta get back to where we were.
Yeah, she's in now.
Okay, hold on a second. I get back to the Zoom call. Now somehow,
You are presenting.
yeah, but hold on. Somehow it's. Why is it doing this? Hold on, bear with me. Why is this doing this? I hate to think what would happen if I do this. Why is it? Okay. Oh boy. Why is it not letting me back in? I see you guys. Somehow. Okay. Oh, there we go. Let's try this. Let's cancel that. Why is it this? I don't want to join again. Why did I lose you guys? Why did it go here? All right. Let's see. Can you guys all see the where I was?
Yep.
I'm here.
All right. All right. So everyone's seeing back where we are.
Can't hear me.
All right. So getting back to these things here. These are
I had no.
I'm
muting now. You're gonna hear the difference.
I think I can hear Mary Ann. Mary Ann, are you muted?
Now she is.
Okay. All right. You're seeing more than I am for some reason. I don't know what happened here. Okay. Well, let's keep going here. Well, I got this up here. Maybe when this goes away. So anyway, folks, let's get back to the, I apologize to everybody for that. The practice guidelines. What we're saying here is for volleyball practice, and as I went over already with track and field, even though they're outside, we're implementing similar things, if not the same. You know, for practice, obviously the number one rule, if there's a coach or an athlete does not feel well, you got to beat it into their head. Do not come to practice. Even if they just have a runny nose and they don't feel good, they should not be at practice. Whatever, they stubbed their toe, they don't feel well, don't come to practice. I don't know how much more we need to say that. You know, it can't be, you know, I know parents sometimes like to drop the kids off, just like they do. Oh, you're okay to go to school. Don't send them to school. Don't send them to practice. Only coaches and players are only going to be permitted at practice. Nobody else. Nobody else should be in there. No extra siblings. If they have practice after, let them come back. If they're on the older team or the younger team, coaches. So again, only coaches and players should be at practice, the athletes. Now, I'm going to share with you, because you don't have to come back at me and say this. If there is an athlete that you have that there's a medical reason, there's a reason why the parent has to be there to administer something or do something, and that you already accept that, that ahead of time. Of course, that athlete has to be, obviously cleared to be able to do these activities as well. That person could be there, but that has to be really extenuating, strong circumstances. And it can't, if you have 13 girls on the team, doesn't mean that all 13 have the same thing. Because, I would try to keep that as much just to the players and coaches at 100% there. They all must be wearing a mask. I'm not going to read all these line by line, but they all should be wearing a mask at all times, other than when players are permitted to either lower them or keep them up if they want. The athlete has the choice. They can lower them or remove them during drills or in the active practice on the court, or it says on or course if they were out for volleyball practice, because these are for volleyball and cross country. So again, if they're just kind of standing around and they're waiting for the next instruction from you, or if you have, a number of girls and you got, you're scrimmaging, you got 12 out on the court and 2 are standing. They shouldn't be standing next. They, give some social distancing. They should still be wearing their mask until they're out onto the court. And obviously the coach should have it on at all times. All necessary equipment to practice should always be sanitized before each use and if feasible, periodically during the practice time. Players also should be required to bring their own hand sanitizer. A lot of the kids now bring a small little bottle with them. Again, these are obvious ones that we've all heard over the we've probably heard these our whole life. Don't share your drink with somebody. But now more than ever, you really can't share your drink. So Vic, don't ask me to share my drink. I'm sorry, you're not having it. Don't let them share water bottles. And you know what? If you guys do this at practice, I really don't know anybody who does. But if you've got a Gatorade cooler or some kind of cooler and you're bringing cups, I wouldn't even do that. Don't do that. I don't think anyone does do that, but don't do that. You might have been doing it before because you're a good coach and you want to do that, but don't do that. Okay. If you have multiple teams in your program, please conduct separate practices. Don't tell the JV girls and the varsity girls all come together. Or if you've got multiple varsity teams or multiple JV teams, don't tell them all to come at the same time. And also try to space out the practices a little bit. So if you're going to practice at 7 o'clock, you normally would tell the other team 8 o'clock. Either cut practice short at 7:45, so you're in and out before the next team gets there. Let's try to reduce the crossing of the pattern of there. And let's definitely, when practice is over, if you want to, most coaches like to have a little huddle at the end. Everybody, hands in, Saints, yeah. Don't do the hands in, just stand. Saints, good, goodbye, good night, see everybody, and move on. Let's not linger. Let's get in, get out during practice times. Again, no huddling, and you speak with your team, with your group, social distance of space. If all of a sudden, how the girls could be, not picking on girls here, but I don't, just sometimes one goes, no, let's all go, let's not let that happen either. They should all be going one at a time. Less people in the bathroom. Let's not overcrowd the bathroom. During practice, you got to make sure you tell your coaches, 'cause a lot of you program directors, you're not there at practice. The teams start taking on their own life. You're not there at every practice and so forth unless you're coaching. Please tell the coaches they need to watch out for the kids. If all of a sudden the child came in whistling and happy as can be, and now she's down in the dumps and she doesn't look well, she's sweating a lot. Let's get that child out of there right away. They could just be tired, fatigued, whatever, but get them out of the way and not contact their parent right away and have them come take them home. Okay. Something else regarding practice. I did not put it here because so many of us know it, but I strongly urge you. I can update this and put it in there. The traditional COVID-19 checkoff list. Your children that go to our schools may know this already. Before they come into school, when school was on last year, maybe one of the principals could tell me if the procedure is in the same place this year, but they would have to pre-screen themselves before they got there and checked in that they don't have any of the symptoms. Some schools even took temperatures when kids were coming in the building. So what I recommend you guys should do, there's a lot of different apps out there. Team Snap seems to be a popular one. I'll put out some examples. I'll search it myself too. You may want to bring back many of you guys didn't do this unless you did. We did it during track and field, and some of us did it all either through the sheet. I could provide the sheet again that shows you all the symptoms of COVID-19 if you don't know them already. You could create if you have your own system in place, you may want to ask those folks to do that before they come to practice. Okay. So we could look at putting that in here also as a guideline. Regarding afterwards, this is a real concern by our pastors and principals. Again, most of us all practice in our school building. Those may have a different setup. I think there's only few that have like a parish center that's an auditorium, serves as a big multi-purpose area for the parish and so forth. But just going to talk to you again about, if not already in place, Some of yous, we definitely make sure you're touching base with your principals and pastors and your maintenance people about, having the signage visible. A lot of the schools still have all this signage up. Those of you that maybe didn't go back into your gym until June, when we said it was okay to go back in on June 21st, you may want to work together. You could print out a lot of these signs for free, right from the CDC website. Maybe you go to Staples, have them laminated, unless you have a laminator, and make them look really pretty and hang them up all over the place. But I think most of the school buildings, I know for sure, have a lot of this all in place. Please work together, collaborate with your pastor and principal and maintenance staff to ensure everyone's working together, because that's going to be the real big thing, gang. As I mentioned on the earlier call and on previous calls, this that I've had so far, we have to make sure that we are doing our part to keep all the facilities up to its standard, so that the next day there isn't any problems when school starts the next day, or if the parish is using it for something, whatever the case may be. I know it's a lot to ask of everybody, but these are the steps that we have to take. Many of you are all used to stuff like this because, maybe you mop the gym floor, you clean the bathrooms before you leave. A lot of us buy our own janitorial supplies. A lot of us do already a lot of stuff at our locations. So this is not really something new to a lot of you, but this is where we all need to, work together, reduce the crowding, proper social distancing again, entrances and exits in your high traffic areas. At the conclusion of practice, the facility must be cleaned and prepped for its next use. And, if you haven't already, I would make sure that you speak with your pastor and your principal, whoever is the person that you need to see regarding this, whether you're a parish program, a school program, both, make sure we're doing that. I do want to share again, some of you may be seeing this for the very first time. This is a company that we actually use here. I make no money from this. I'm not endorsing it. I'm not the president or a client or anything like that. Many of the sports programs have been asking. This is a company that's been out there a while. It's owned by a couple of men who are actually part of the Knights of Columbus, and they do sanitizing and cleaning and janitorial for their livelihood. They are doing this at a lot of locations. They put together, some of them are coaches in our counties. They put together a sports package because, again, you can't keep running to the schools cannot take on this kind of, the parish and the schools can't take on this kind of financial burden. And if we're going to have sports, this is just something that we also need to do too. And I'm sure your parents would understand and so forth. But these are some packages they put together. I'm just putting it out there. If you didn't know where to buy anything or you're looking to buy anything, I'm just sharing it with you so you have a source. Especially if your principal says, okay, Tom, what are you going to do and make sure the place is all nice and clean when I leave? You can buy a sprayer. They'll even give the chemicals. I mean, it's just, stuff that you may need to keep everybody safe and so forth. I'm now going down in here to the calendar. I'm going to post this for everybody. And I do have on here, we are going to officially, we're saying the stepping off for the opening of the season is going to be September 24th. Will anybody even play that day? I have no idea. I don't know how many of you have even done registration yet. A lot of places, like I said earlier in the call, some places by now, some programs did registration back in June. They used to anyway. Some did it last month. Some did it in August. Some programs are already started practicing. So I don't know where everybody is, and that is something that we hope we won't know that either tonight. Some of you someone may be on this call as let me see what's going on, and does this make me feel comfortable? I already had one program tell me that they are not going to field teams. The program, hold on a second, I just admitted somebody. The program director himself made that decision not to do it, but they hope to do basketball, but they wanted to wait and see how the fall goes. So again, that's a personal preference on what you would like to do. So on here, in this calendar, this will get posted for you. You don't have to worry about trying to see it here tonight, all of it. But one thing that is due, that is very important to find out, if we are having, one, are you having volleyball? Two, what does it look like? I was, you pre-signed up to be part of the meeting tonight. And I was a little concerned to see the lack of some counties that had only a few people coming. I don't know if that means that they're the only ones or everybody else missed it, or I've been sending out a lot of announcements. Some of you are probably sick or getting a little tired of seeing all the announcements, but we're just trying to get to everybody. For us too, it's a little starting up. We're behind the curveball here. We don't have currently a full-time associate director of athletics. So I've picked up the reins. Vic is now back into his position after September 1st. So where a lot of the contacts that we've had for the programs don't forget, volleyball last season they had was 2019. A lot of those folks aren't or even part of it anymore. They've either graduated or they said, I'm not doing it anymore, put it back over on the school and parish. You guys figure it out. I'm done. I've done my time and so forth. So one thing that's really important for us to even get a taste of what's going on out there, a flavor, is September 10th. Like we do with basketball, we're asking you and these forms have been up on the website already, so hopefully you've had a chance to glance at them. The girls volleyball team commitment and information form is due. I've already started getting some because those programs are a little more ahead, probably, obviously. But by the 10th, I'd like to at least get those forms sent to me, whether via email, fax, whatever you need to do. Picture it, send it to me, whatever, to get it into us. It's a PDF fillable on our website under the forms on the CYO, on the athletic bullet point there. So we could see what we have, because like with track and field and with summer hoops, we had to forget who we all are, to get out of our comfort zone. And we had to, try to create a league with those that were left standing and then we're going to participate. So it worked out great. Everybody worked, as I said, together as a team, and it really was great. I was very touched by the great camaraderie and sportsmanship that was displayed by so many. We've also have here down when paperwork is due. Right now it's 4 days sent here, drop by at the center or mail it to me, whatever. I will also try to figure out in here if there is some able folks who would like to be a drop-off point. Maybe I could twist Ed Kelly to be a drop-off point for Essex County. Ed heard his voice and heard his name and popped right up before he gets assigned more work. But, we'll try to pick a place maybe in every county where you could also drop off there too, and somebody will take responsibility. Even there, we're trying to rebuild. Right now, there are no county coordinators like we used to have. Those county coordinators are no longer involved. So again, unfortunately, you're stuck with me. Vic, I know you're happy with, but you're stuck with me. But we're making it all work, man. I'm driven by all of you. You are getting a little bit of a sneak peek there about basketball. There is a mandatory basketball meeting for all program directors, but let's stick with volleyball here. So I made the official opening day. We have to have a date to start, right? So September 24th would be that date. Everybody would start at the same time. If some are, we'll evaluate if some are ready before. Again, keep in mind, if you were coaching back in 2019, you said, wow, we used to have like 18 matches. That's not going to be probably the case this year, just like we did with summer hoops and with track and field. We limited ourselves. Again, it was less opportunity for something to go wrong. We were safe going about it. So maybe we don't play as many matches. Maybe the season will only be 8 to 10 matches, maybe with playoffs and everything else. And you get to, 12 or, 14, possibly, just entered somebody else. We'll look at that and evaluate. That's another reason why we need that commitment form. By the way, if you have an issue with not getting me the commitment form by the 10th, does that mean you're out? No, I will certainly do the best I can, but it's important to get it. So if you know you're going to have, and it's not binding, it's not a contract. So you call me back 4 days later and say, Tom, we couldn't get enough girls. We're not having a team. Okay, I understand. We're just trying to figure out, we're trying to put the pieces back from the puzzle of what it last looked like in 2019. Won't be the same. Puzzle's going to look different, but try to put the pieces back to the puzzle. Okay, we've also set up, I've set up other Zoom meetings as we get going, and we'll have, next week, I do want to have, you see here on September, I should have picked this out sooner, on September 7th, I am going to break it down by county. So you can, if you want to ask questions that pertain, because every county had a little different flavor of what they did or how they went about it. And we adjusted to things. So next Tuesday, the 7th, we'll have a Hudson County meeting at 7, a Bergen meeting at 8. And then September 9th, we'll do the, oh, this is Essex County. That's the 7 o'clock. I don't know why I forgot to type in Essex County. I'll fix that. But that's Essex County, folks. And then the 8 o'clock will be Union. Then the team commitment form, then the paperwork. And then we have the official opening day. I've already scheduled more Zoom meetings as we're moving along into October to see how it's all moving along and how it's all working. I think that's the safest way to go right now. I'm sorry if it's a pain. Hopefully I'll be better at it. But instead of us packing everybody into a room and picking a location, at least Zoom now, you get to do it from the comfort at home or wherever you're located. And we're going to skip down forget the basketball dates. And don't ask me any questions don't put any questions, Vic, any questions in the chat about basketball. Delete those questions. So don't ask those. You can always call me or email me. We do have the season winding down. The season will end before Thanksgiving. We are going to we want to do the Tournament of Champions. That will be on the 21st and 22nd here at Kearney. But all of the volleyball girl playoffs right now are scheduled to start November 13th. And everything would wrap up by the 20th, if not sooner than the 20th. And that's where we are right now. So on that, I'm going to share with you this page. I'm not going to go through all the forms. They're up on the website. I've already done them at the other meetings we've had. But if you have any questions, please give me a call. You know, for volleyball, you do need to submit that team commitment form. Everything here else you guys need to do. There's the team form, the team roster, and it tells you if it gets returned to us. So that the team form gets returned to us. The team roster form gets returned to us. The covenant form gets turned to us. Guys, please, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, the coach's covenant. This is something that's very important. You've got to do everything you possibly can to get this signed by everybody, okay? When something goes wrong, and you guys know this already, I don't want to beat up on all these forms, but on this one particular, they all say the same thing. I never got that from my program director. I didn't sign that. Well, you're right. You coach with a brother, a sister, husband and wife coach together. One sign, you all have to sign it. One, you know, they all have to have it. Please. We have to have that coach's covenant on file. Plus, we can't have people saying, I'm a coach, and then I go check the file, and there's no such form for a coach. That's because that person's not a coach, but they don't know I don't know that, and it's at a game, and there's a problem, and then I call the director and say, hey, there's a problem. Tom, the person you're describing, I don't even know. So please, we got to make sure we have all these coaches' covenants, okay? The CYO athletic and release form, that's only if it has to be used. Then you would send it off to us. The referee payment form, the permission form, obviously you guys get to keep that. Please make sure your coaches have that, and you should have a file on hand for yourselves. And the code of conduct form. We have them here, and when we have a problem, we did clean that one up. The coach doesn't have to sign that one, just the parent and the player, which you guys get to keep on file. But again, please, I know sometimes parents don't. Mom signs it, it's for the whole family. Dad signs it, it's for the whole family. That's what the intention is of it. We always get the folks when there is a problem. Oh, I didn't see that form. I didn't sign that form. So please work with us. All these forms are up on our website. Okay. These are the rules that we have. They say draft. I really shouldn't have taken away the draft. Maybe that threw people off. These are the same rules with a few modifications that were from 2019 and that were put in place the season before. Before that, remember, we were all in different leagues before 2018, and we all had different variations of rules, and we all had different things. And as we told you, when we recreated the rules, and some of you may be new to this, when we recreated the rules, we took a little bit of everybody. As we told everybody, If one county did this and the other 3 counties didn't do that, well, we tried to make a happy place. But if 3 were doing it and 1 wasn't it, the other 3 won out. If 2 counties were doing this and the other 2 weren't, we tried to make it work that there was a little bit of left of each of everything. Not everybody won, not everybody lost. We did the best set of rules we possibly could. These were some of the rules. A lot of them seem familiar. We did add, and Vic, please at any moment jump in here for me because I'm still learning some of the new inserts. I don't want to miss them, but pretty much everything kind of stands the same as far as roster and eligibility and so forth. We did add some stuff in here that would take some, we listened to you guys too, all of you together. And we went through some of the things you'll see in here about being able to borrow players or temporary players, as we like to refer to them. So when I get down in there, I'll go through there. A lot of this stuff stays the same. I'm thinking here, the one thing that comes to mind is regarding the protocols for the games. We took out in 2019 the friendship game that no longer gets played. If the third match becomes the tiebreaker does get played to 25, not to whoever goes up by 2 points. It's another whole match. You got to play the whole match to 25. As I'm flipping through here, Vic, if you see something that I'm missing, I'm sure we'll get called out by somebody. I know I want to get down here to league play where you get down here, as you guys could see on here. Let's talk about temporary players. So temporary players, we are allowing for the first time. Well, again, other counties used to do things differently, but here in the CYO and the CYO rules, we are going to allow you to have a temporary player so that you could get a match in. A temporary player cannot be on 2 rosters. A temporary player can only be used to, you only have 5 girls, you need a 6th girl, and you need to bring her. It's to stop, it was done to help stop cancellations and reschedules, because you must play 100% of your schedule. So now we're giving you some tools here to get those in and to get a player. You could take a player from the grade level down below. Unfortunately, for 5th and 6th grade, unless you have multiple teams, like some of you do, you have other team to pull from. On the 5th and 6th grade level, there is nobody else to borrow. You can't bring somebody down. That runs us into a whole insurance issue. You can't bring an older player down, but you can borrow from the lower team. If you only have a 7th, 8th grade team, well, you only have a 7th, 8th grade team. I myself, regarding the roster, some felt, hey, you know what? They have to have a roster of at least 10 girls. Is that really fair? What if you only have 7 girls? You really want to have it? They're all committed to you. I'd even say I would allow 6, but we said 7 because I don't, I've had 7 girls before on a basketball team, and thank God on 3rd and 4th grade girls too, no less, the Super 6. We finished the whole season without canceling any games. We lumbered through, but you got through. And FYI, if anyone's curious, to finish a volleyball game, if you were ever to run out of players, you must have at least 2 left to finish a volleyball game. You must have 2 left to complete a game. So you could play 2 on 6, just so you know. It's not in the rules, but I'm just sharing it with you because it was asked. We were talking about it in the off season. Anyway, what else? So it's all in there. It tells you how they can be used, how we go about them. I'm trying not to, I know some of you, I see the questions are piling up, so I'm trying to get through there for you.
Yeah, all play, Tom. That's the other way.
That's where we're going to go next. Okay. Regarding uniforms too, I'm just going to go over this for a second. Everybody must be wearing knee pads. Okay. That was a big thing. That was a big problem in 2019. The referees, I know our assigner is on. She doesn't have to jump in right now, but all players have to be wearing knee pads, and I don't think the official will let you on the court, if I'm not mistaken, without them. And they should really have their own knee pads. They shouldn't be sharing, obviously, during this particular time. So now let me get down to the all play rule. This did get changed. And unfortunately, I've already had a few coaches say to me, "Oh, really?" And I don't know what else to say to those coaches. I respect all of you. I used to be a crazy coach myself. Just ask anybody on this Zoom call. I like to win too. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't need to go to confession for that. But people, it's just like, anything else. A law comes out, this comes out, this comes out. Everyone always tries to find a loophole. And on the all play rule, if you might recall, in 2019, we played that everybody on your bench that's in a uniform, you could have a player on the bench who maybe is being suspended for academics, being suspended because in your house, in your own set of rules, you have conduct, or you have this, or you miss 2 practices, you sit the next game. Now, do you really want to punish the girl and she can't come to the game? Or do you really, I don't like the idea of people saying, well, she has to sit out with the fans. This allows you to let that player maybe just wear her jersey, sweatpants, and everything else. But if there's a girl sitting on the bench with, the black eye stuff on, headband, wristbands, everything, knee pads, she's an eligible player. She's got to play. So a lot of folks, which I really didn't like, and we got lots of complaints on it, not just from parents. We got complaints actually from a lot of coaches that it was a shame some girl only got 2 serves and you might as well then send her home because, she was done. You were not going to put her back in. You were finished. And, guys, unfortunately, that's what happens. Maybe nobody on this call. I'm not accusing anybody. Don't feel you need to defend yourself. Nobody needs a lawyer here tonight. But we looked at this hard. We looked at other options. We looked what other dioceses do. So we came up with the all play rule that states the following. I'm missing a little of you here, where it says if you have more than 12 players available to play sitting on your bench for a given contest, each player must be on the court for a minimum of, I'm blacked out there.
6.
Six serves. Okay. Oops, somebody's coming in late. Hold on a second. I just let somebody in. For 6 serves, not consecutive, not all in one shot, but must be done within the first 2 matches. The first 2 matches, that player, if you have more than 12. If you have 12 players or less available for a given contest, each player must be on the court for a minimum of 10 serves. Again, 5 in the first match, 5 in the second match. Whatever you want to do, but they got to get their 5. Okay. And also, folks, I'm just going to say it here, and I could say it. Maybe I'm singing to the choir. There might be a coach out there, not on this call, but in your program saying, "Oh, really? Well, here's what I'm going to do now. I'm only taking 8 girls and I'm cutting the rest." Don't let that happen. That's your program. These girls, some of them, some just come out because they want to be with their girl, all the girls, and they all want to be together. I get that. Right now, I would take 50 girls at our program. We don't care. I mean, I would love to have that many girls participating. Don't use a way to get around the rule and say, "Oh, well, we didn't have tryouts yet," and you start calling your program director. Well, you know what? I'm only coaching 8 girls, or I'm not coaching at all. Thank the coach. Thank him for all his years of service, him or her, and get somebody else. I know that's not easy. It's easy for me to say, hard for you guys to do. But anyway, I know there's been some pushback because some folks might have known we were doing this or heard we were doing it, and it's happening, folks. So embrace it, love it. It's happening. If in either case, if a player does not participate in the first match, that player must start the second match and fulfill the entire all play requirement prior to being substituted. Okay. Well, chat box is still the same, Vic.
Yeah.
And of course, the violations that are all here, which have been similar to non-play before. As we all saw this happen once before. Those of you in Bergen County know how people we had the championship game. we had a program that did that. They didn't even get the girl two serves, and they knew about it. 2 serves. And what a mess that was. That's what changed this rule. This one, how this serves as we're reading it, this is your warning. This is your first warning. Your first offense results, and that you've already had your warning, is a forfeit of the game. And a second offense, suspension, forfeit of game, and so forth. And then to the point where if you do it again, goodbye, we'll see you some other time. That is that on that part. I also just want to go back to temporary players for a minute. I missed it. I should have read through it. But on temporary players, when you borrow a player, you're also, the game goes down. It's a loss for you, not a forfeit, and it's a win for the other team. Okay? Because you had to borrow a non-roster player. Okay? So you probably saw that in there, and I know I missed it. Let's see. I think it's all part of A and B, where it talks about, about the 100%, and it talks about how the team, opposing team, forfeit team, they still take it. It won't be counted as a forfeit, but the other team will get a win for it, and you're just taking a loss. Okay? That way, you're not forfeiting any games. Okay?
It doesn't impact your playoff eligibility.
Correct. Right.
But no temporary players in the playoffs.
Yeah, and there's no temporary players allowed in the playoffs. Okay? All right. So that's what I covered here tonight with you.
Questions?
Sure.
All right.
Let me stop. I'm going to stop sharing. There we go. Everyone's back in the picture. Okay. Okay.
All right. Well, just while you were on the all play rule, for clarity, questions, does 10 serves mean 10 serves for that team or 10 total for both teams?
It's the 10 total. That's correct. All these serves are based on totals, just like we did in 2019.
Yep.
And that's why, not to elaborate, that's why it was sad in a lot of cases, even in the championships, to see a girl, she may not even touch the ball, standing there, ball comes across, then, you guys got a point. She didn't even touch it. Then her teammate hits it. That's 2 serves. And right away, the coach is taking her out. We saw it. I mean, poor girl sat there the rest of the way. So go ahead.
All right. Yep. Back on coaches' vaccinations. Can a program individually mandate that vaccinations are required instead of just weekly testing? Is that a program decision?
That's a program decision. If after the program director, I would, if I was the program director, I would make sure I consult my principal, my pastor. If you're, either one, both sometimes work together. If you're, but if you're just a school program, I would talk with my principal. I know that there was a meeting about this with the school's office, with all principals, and we're basically following the exact executive order. But certainly, I mean, any program on anything can turn around and say, well, we're invoking this, we're doing that.
You're setting a minimum. That's the minimum.
Yep.
Okay. All right. The next related, when we talk about testing for COVID, is there a specific test required? Will a rapid test suffice?
As long as it shows a negative test result, that's.
Rapid test is okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. That's it on vaccinations.
And I just want to say one second, Vic. If there's any principals or I don't think there's any pastors on, but if there's any principals on and they feel they want to interject about that particular topic or something else when we get to it, if we don't cover it, please jump in. I don't want to put you on the spot, but please do. Maria, if you want to, just take yourself off mute.
Yeah, what I would add about the tests, in our school, for example, we only accept PCR tests for students. So it all depends, and that school changes from school to school. So if your school accepts the rapid tests, and under other circumstances, like for students when they're out and to come back to school, then I would say yes. But I'm leaning towards it being in our school a PCR test, only because that's what we we expect of everybody else. But again, that needs a little bit of thought too, because PCR tests take a little bit of time to get back as well. So,
Yeah, it was not specified to me from the diocese that, one, they prefer one over the other. I didn't hear that from risk management or from, my
I don't think
supervisor.
there's going to be a preference because I don't think the CDC requires a specific test.
Right.
Haven't gotten that far.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
And in the executive order, it didn't say a specific test.
Right, but then some schools have particular, guidelines for their own community, right? In our school, for example, for a student to prove that they're COVID negative, it has to be a PCR test. So I have to give it a little bit more thought about, how we would proceed in our particular school. So it might be a little bit different, I think, from school to school.
Right. I will, after this meeting is over, I myself too will send an email to my, to my superiors, and I'll ask if we're allowed to specify which one everybody has to take, or is it discretion of the program, or, I read the actual executive order with all the whereases and how is and all that's in there. It didn't specify, but
You're right, Tom.
so,
Specify.
right. No, I'm not saying that whatever makes everybody comfortable. Maybe just program directors that are on should check with their principals if there's a school or the pastor to see what either he or she is comfortable with. But I'll also ask.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, Tom, if a school has sanitizers, hand sanitizers in their gym, do the girls need to bring their own?
No, if they have the wall mounts,
Okay.
I would,
Easy, that's an easy one. Are there limits? I know it's in the rules, but I forgot, limits on the number of players per team?
the roster cannot exceed 15.
15, right.
Right.
All right. Here's a question. How do we contact Mary Ann?
We'll put all her information up when we're ready,
Yeah.
Some of you all know her. There might be some new people on this that are taking over the program for the first time, but we'll make sure we get all that out there. We always put that out there on our website. I don't know if we do it on our website. We might, but I'll make sure everybody gets that.
Kitchen rules, will they all be the same? No open food?
Well, as of right now, you're allowed to go to an open buffet. Again, I'm only giving you the answer that I'm aware of today. I haven't had anyone tell me otherwise. You can go and, the governor back in the summer lifted his executive order. You were allowed to, you were allowed to have an open buffet. You were allowed to, take away the plexiglass. You could have a salad bar out. You could, do all those things. I don't know how many programs for their snack stand that they do a lot of that stuff. But to my knowledge, you can do all that. So the only thing I would say to you is possibly check with your local board of health. They may say, hey, even though Department of Health of New Jersey says you could do all these things, and the governor didn't renew the executive order on restrictions, they may have something. I don't know. But then be careful. They may say to you, wait, do you have a license?
Tom, can we confirm that the JV is open to fourth graders? That's a yes, right?
Yes, we just don't list it. If you want to, it was something that was, we don't list it that way because it seems like it's common knowledge. So I apologize for that. If you have, I was just telling somebody the other day who asked me, if you have a fourth grader and you think she's ready, or you want to start bringing fourth graders in, yes, but that's only for the JV. Again, I guess we'll have to specify that, Vic. We'll make that correction that you can, but only limited to bringing it to the person on the JV squad. We don't want to see a fourth grader up on varsity. I know some of you might be saying, who would do that? There's people out there that will do that. I mean, at one time, I won't lie to you, back in the day before we became the CYO, Ed's laughing. Why is he laughing? What's we call it? Back in the day, back when we weren't all part of the diocese up in the Tri-County League, you could, I mean, we had a third grade girl who had a cannon of an arm who could do the overhand serve. Third grade girl, flew it over like a bullet over the net. We let her play. She didn't go to the varsity. We let her play with the 5th and 6th grade. Although she would serve better than some of the varsity girls, but she had a bullet. She's now graduated, long gone. She's actually in college. But anyway, go ahead, Vic.
All right, I'm just confirming, so there's a question, will the rules be online? The answer to that is yes.
Actually, the rules are online right now, up on the website with all the forms.
Great. If you're only a school program, do you require a pastor's signature? The answer to that is no.
No.
Right?
Right.
All right, now this is a big one. A couple of questions around scheduling.
On
How
that
are we
team,
going-
I'm sorry, Vic,
Yeah.
on that team
Sure.
form, it tells you if this is.
Yeah, it
you
does.
don't need to- It's all spelled out there for you.
So this is now around scheduling. How
Oh,
are we
hey,
going
Vic.
to?
If you don't,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, only because
Go
you
ahead.
brought up that signature thing. It also tells you, it's very clear. If you go to our website, you'll see the forms. It tells you very clear, the box is there. I think I even highlighted the box. The biggest complaint we got, see, we're trying to, you may not see it that way. I know we're the big bad CYO, but we're trying to do things easier. Give us time, we'll get there in a lot easier way. But we did in 2019, try to make it where back, if you remember the old CYO forms, you had to get everyone's signature across the bottom on the roster form, right? So we said, okay, less signature, we have this one form now. But then what happened was we had pastors or principals or DREs. You know, if anybody knows, familiar with one particular program, I won't call them out. Their school now is closed anyway, unfortunately, but they had a lot of ineligible players, and the DRE said, I didn't even see the form. Well, your name is on it. Well, I didn't see the rosters. It tells you right there. Please, let's all work together. Make sure when you go turn in those, even to your principal, even if she doesn't ask you, or you say, I got to get this paperwork to CYO. Please just sign this, Maria. You know, she's so busy. Every principal, he and she are pushing stuff all day long. You know, at one time they're a janitor, they're a principal, this, they're that, they're the traffic guard, they're this. They just sign. You got to make sure you have all the rosters attached and everything else. Sorry, Vic.
No problem. A question just came up, which we can answer. Do we use a certain person for referees? And the answer is yes. All of that's assigned through Mary Ann. Right. Can we specify that home teams must both bring a scorebook and have someone know how to use it? That was not the case. So I don't know if we say anything in the rules specifically in volleyball about that, about the proficiency of a scorekeeper.
Yeah, I believe they're first of all, I don't know why anybody, I know back in the old days, and maybe people are just, it's just become, it just keeps rolling over year after year. Back in the old days in the CYO, everybody would give somebody $10 or $5 and someone did the score, and that was that. You all have to have a scorekeeper there with a volleyball scorebook, and both teams have to concur what the scores are and who got into play and who didn't get into play, and so forth. I don't know why that's really a problem. Maybe it's because some say, I say it, I mean, but, I would never let one of my teams go without a scorekeeper. We even have a scorekeepers class. So I'm almost positive in the rules here, I will double check them, not to hold everybody up, but I believe almost it says for a scorekeeper, you need to have a scorekeeper. So
Okay. Yeah.
that has to happen. Yeah, I don't know why it won't happen.
Yeah, Tom, this is Glenn. It just says home team is responsible for the book. It doesn't say that the home team must bring the book and have someone know how to do it, because that was the case in 2019. Many teams were not ready for that. And it falls to the host then to provide a book and all that kind of stuff. It's just one extra layer of stuff that the host site shouldn't have to deal with.
And Glenn, that's a perfect example about the traditional wheel. Back in the day in your particular county, when they used to play all the games, not saying it doesn't happen at the other counties. I'm just saying in the other counties, and you in your particular county, when the games were all played at Roselle Catholic, or if they were played just at Holy Trinity, the coordinator, everybody knows Valeria. Valeria always said, "I'll do the score," and she would sit there and do it, and that's how that happened.
We paid high school kids to do it.
Yeah,
That was that was
Yeah.
much easier.
The rule says about the home team, because the home team is the official book. And that's why we say the home team has to at least do the, be there. But we'll make it more pinpointed in the rules, so it's very clear and understandable.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, the last topic, a few questions on around scheduling. How are we going to do schedules? Will program directors be involved? Will there be a meeting?
Right. Yeah. So again, every county had a little different flavor to it. The other counties, you know which ones you are. In other counties, we meet, just like we do with basketball. We meet, we go around tables. I bring some food and snacks and everything else. Gives us a chance to, hey, how you doing? I'm so-and-so. Yeah, I'm new, my first year. Oh, if you need it, and we all do it. That was always the thing that gets me. Other than losing your gym because the principal needs to have a meeting or something happened or the parish needs it or something needs it, I was always surprised by how many changes there are every year because you got the dates pre-done, you got them pre-approved, you did your schedule. Why'd you pick a day? You should do all your homework to do all that. But yes, I know in other counties, in other ways, and that's something we need to talk about. But it's finding out who's really in. But I know, like traditionally in Union County, for example, I'm not picking on Union County, but just use an example. In Union County, they don't have a lot of locations. So they play at Holy Trinity Westfield. They play at St. Mike's in Cranford. I'm probably missing a location. Maybe back in the day, I know they did St. Agnes, even though they didn't have volleyball, but they would let them use their gym. So what happens is the coordinator would sit there and he or she would do the schedule for them because it's pretty simple. We're only going to two different places because the other gyms just don't have, or St. Teresa's, Kenilworth, I think they have a volleyball court, but if not, don't worry, you don't have to answer. But there's only so many locations to go to. And so the coordinator, you would do it. But the coordinator if we do it that way again, it's going to be me and Vic. We'll certainly ask you all your questions, but I don't have a problem of us picking again. Do we want to meet together? Do we want to do it where we give you all the contact information and now you're responsible to get it done and send it back to us as the copy, and then we send the assigner the schedule, and that way she has it and she starts assigning officials to it. Well, let's tackle it once we get it all together. With that, I do want to mention, since you're mentioning about scheduling and games, again, some counties like to only play on the weekends. Other counties play 7 days a week. Not every day, but we play every 7 days are available to play. So for those of you, when we do get to the scheduling, we'll mention it then too. But since we're on it at the moment, referees are it's the same situation we hear all the time, especially with volleyball, and especially you're still going to maybe have some officials who are not ready yet themselves to go back to doing refereeing for whatever reasons. They may have pre-existing other medical conditions. They're not doing it. Keep in mind, if you're going to do scheduling during the week, which we all do it to help get the games in and get them done, don't schedule a match to start at least until 7 o'clock. You get there, you get ready, you get set up, you do all this stuff, and we'll provide more guidance too. I only gave you so far practice stuff. We didn't talk about when the games start as far as COVID. I want to see where we're going to be in another week and two. We'll talk about that as well, about what it's going to be like with warming up and all that during this time. We are going to take some extra steps there as well. So I didn't want to put that all out there today because all of it could change. I could also email all of you tomorrow that unfortunately, due to the numbers, we're postponing volleyball and all fall sports. So, but we'll get there. But just keep something in mind. First matches really couldn't start then until at least 7 o'clock to give the officials time to get from the high school games to the, I know Mary Ann's asked me to convey that to everybody. So, okay, go ahead, Vic.
Well, it's just one last one. I think it's just misunderstanding. So when that scorekeeping class is, I think that you meant that's something you do at St. Leo's for yours, right? It's-
Yeah, well, I keep telling them we're gonna do it, but we're certainly, hey, listen, we'll, you know what? I'll tell you what, I'll put it on the calendar for it to be here. And I will make sure we find the best volleyball scorekeeper. And we'll even see if we can get Mary Ann to come from an assigner, our assigner. And I'll even make sure there's food out for everybody, whoever wants to come to a scorekeeping class for volleyball. How's that? There'll be no excuses then. All right, I'll plan that out tonight before I leave.
No other questions. That's everything.
Okay. Do we want to, do I dare ask, should we open it up and let everybody have if anybody has anything they'd like to? So you just need to unmute yourself. Oh, hey, listen, before you all do all that, I do want to mention to you to plant the seed for next year. And I have no details other than this is it. Next year, CYO would like to start a 3rd and 4th grade level for girls to start getting them, you know, into the system, into the role, into the thing, into it. Maybe some of you now do a clinic with 3rd and 4th grade girls, which could also include 2nd grade girls if you want, maybe even 1st grade girls. You know, to excite that next age group. You know, right now, 3rd and 4th graders not really sure what they want to do unless they really are doing it already. You always get that shy boy or girl, I don't want to do it. Then you give them a uniform and they change their mind and turns out to be one of your best players when they're graduating. But anyway, next year we would like to start a 3rd and 4th grade girls division. You know, maybe we play with a lower net, all kinds of things we're not going to discuss here, but you know, we would take all things into consideration to make them level and so forth. Okay. So, would anybody like to ask a question?
Yeah, I do. This is An from St. Teresa School.
Okay, An, what's up, buddy?
I just look at the team form, and you said it's due on next Friday, right? The team commitment form.
Yep.
And then they say on the bottom, say before you sign this, you must have the red roster form attached to it. So are you telling me that we have to submit
No,
both
you don't
forms?
need the roster form for that. Sorry.
So
That's a
we got that red bold words in the bottom.
Yeah, no, the team, you might be looking at the team information form. Look at the other form that says team info and commitment form. It's got like some gray boxes. It's a PDF.
I don't see that form on the website unless
It's
I'm
there.
missing somewhere.
No, it's up there, buddy. I saw it before I was on the website tonight.
You have the volleyball team. Oh, okay, the first one. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's
second
top of
one.
the list.
All right, got it. Thank you.
All right. I want to know.
Hey, Tom,
Yes.
question. So I'm sorry, I kind of joined late toward the end when you were discussing
Yeah, well,
everything
just,
regarding the.
yeah. What I did, just so you know, we recorded this call, this Zoom call. So when what you missed, I'll post it up on the website. There's one up there now from the previous meeting.
Right.
And I'll post it. You can get caught up. But go ahead.
That's good. Just a quick question, right? What is, I know you said that you were gonna have another call regarding the protocols for when the games start, but have you guys thought about, you know, what the protocols will be if one team report that they had a COVID incident?
So right away when that happens, you need to, there's a lot of ways to go here. You may say, well, let me call my principal, but technically your first call should be to your local board of health. So I know you're at St.
Right.
Pete's in Belleville. There's protocols up on the New Jersey Department of Health website.
Right.
Your school, you may also want to check with your principal. He or she may already will tell you, I want you to do this, but the protocols are pretty simple. And you call your local board of health. And again, Maria, not to put you on the spot, but I know you're one of our principals. But technically you're supposed to notify Belleville Board of Health right away that you had the problem. And then you let your principal know, your pastor may want to know, and then we all take it from there on what the protocols are going to, they're pretty set in stone about how that
Right.
person needs to be isolated, now I think they've lowered it. You can't come back. A child of our age, the child of these ages you're talking about, some 8th graders and 7th graders might be 12 and have that vaccination already. But otherwise you have to, plan them all out. And I think they've lowered it to 10 days before you could come back, and you must have a negative test. But
Okay. So speaking with my principal, right? One of her concern was, JVs, you have two different classes as well as varsity, right? And if a particular student and, parents may not want to get their child vaccinated, or if they may not report that their child has COVID, in an extreme case like that, right? So this all falls back to the school, correct?
well,
how do you
not to the
wanna-
school. Well, yeah, I mean, you want to inform the school, but what's going to happen is the girls that are all on that team the ones that are there, I believe they have to get, I'm almost positive they've got to get, they can go bring back a negative test. And I believe it's after 5 days, they can return back to school. Does that sound right, Maria? You're on mute. Maria,
Sorry,
you're on mute. There you go.
sorry. The rules are changing every day. But yes, it used to be 10 days of
Okay.
quarantine for the entire team. And now, there you can get after 5 days, you can get the test and come back at 7 instead of 10.
Right. As a matter of fact, the child who gets sick, that is the child who that it comes from. If I'm not mistaken, if they have a negative test after 10 days, they can return.
Yes.
Right. So, and just another thing, since you're asking, if that should happen to any one of you, that's not to be sent out as a message to the whole universe and say, Tommy Conboy came down with COVID. You must keep their name private. It's
Right.
Don't put their name out there. The parents will figure it out pretty quick, but you shouldn't be putting their name out there. Don't put their name out there. It's illegal to do that. Okay.
Okay. One final question, and I'll shut up. Right. If you have enough if you have enough players, to have 2 JV teams or 2 varsity teams, that's still in play, right?
Yeah. If you got
Okay.
27th and 8th graders, and you want to mix them up and do 10 and 10 or whatever, you can field more. You can field as many teams as you like. They just can't all be they're all on separate rosters.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you.
That's a good problem to have. I hope you have it.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Mike with Sacred Heart. I had a question about the practice guidelines on the document that you shared with us today. Is that something that you can either post or maybe send out to the group?
Yeah, I'm going to post it tonight. I'm going to send it, make sure I have it right. If it doesn't get posted tonight, it'll get posted first thing in the morning.
Okay, thank you.
Up on our website. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. You want me to, I'll jump on it. A question just came in. What happens if we have it's the middle of volleyball and we had this terrible thing like that happened last night, or, or something else happened, a warning comes across, anything like that. Obviously, something like that, we've always said this, we've had this with any kind of these weather things, hey, I'm over here in Kearney and it's snowing. Well, up here in Ramsey, it's not snowing, the game is on. That's where you have to, if you were going to go play, if those two, I'm St. Stephen's in Kearney, and I got to go play St. Paul's in Ramsey. It may not be snowing there, but it's snowing here. That's where the two teams have got to get together and say, okay, we have to cancel this. I can't have my families driving, blah, blah, blah. You have to have some more, leadway. And if anything, we've learned, from the folks where the tornado did go through, they had no, as of, the news today, nobody was injured or killed, thank God, because they all did, when they got the warnings, they went down to their basements or evacuated their house, did whatever they had to do. So yeah, everybody's got to work better with the weathering, and everybody will understand that. Officials, everybody, in that kind of a case, nobody should be held, at fault for that. So, so if something like that happens, just come and have someone get to me right away. Okay. And we'll make sure it gets fixed. Okay. All right. I know some of the, not hold you all on here, but there's been some questions about uniforms. As I said to folks, I've said this to all our signers, even in basketball. I said, I dread the day that I get a call that an assigner gave a team technical because they had an illegal number. I know that's the high school rule. And I know, I don't even think even in high school, if they had the case, would official even call it. I know today it's very different. The high schools have to follow it. It's very strict and so forth. But I think if somebody did walk on it, I don't think an official would call it. But everybody has different parameters. Some of you have your programs are sponsored by the school. Some of the program has to sponsor all the money and raise all the money and do fundraisers. It's not a burden to the parish. It's not a burden to the school. It's all money raised on your own through your own fundraising and everything else. And uniforms are expensive. We tell a lot of the new teams, we have a couple of new teams possibly getting out this year with volleyball. And I'm going to tell you, I told them, if you have to start out small, just get a t-shirt. If you can get the number up here, I know the officials don't like it, especially when they come after a high school game, they're kind of grumpy. Good thing, Marianne's not on mute anymore. They want to be a little picky because they can't see the girl's number, like turn around. But, we all can't afford new uniforms at times. And like we've told everybody, when you are getting new uniforms, that's the good time to then get the uniforms to match. Because during even summer hoops, we had one referee say, you got a lot of illegal numbers here. Yeah, we just ordered t-shirts and told the guy go 1 from 25. We weren't worried if you couldn't do the fingers, okay? We just wanted to get a $6 t-shirt. So anyway, all right. Anything else? Nope. All right, guys, good luck with everything. Get out there. If you haven't started registration, if you've gotten the green light to go ahead and move forward, get out there, start your registration. I'm not going to hold you to if you change your mind or something happens, but please, for us to start getting the wheels motion, like for example, I know Glenn's on here, unless he clicked off from Holy Trinity in Westfield. He already got gym dates from his principal to be able to host, to be another host site. Like if you remember in 2019, their gym was under construction. But now they're back and he's already willing to host the whole day. And we'll get, we gotta hear from everybody else too, who has that, not in that particular county, but for us to start talking about scheduling and what we really have as far as teams, we've got to get that form back. It could change. But please at least get me that information commitment form. So we at least say, okay, Hudson County is going to have this, Union County has that. It starts putting the pieces of this puzzle back together. Okay. And I'm available if you need anything. And so is Vic Pianese. I'll make sure everybody has his information. And again, his email is, if you're going to email me, include him. It's victor.pianese@arcan.org. Okay. All right, everybody. Everyone stay healthy, stay safe. And I hope all of you don't have too much damage to your homes and things like that. And enjoy the last little weekend. It's supposed to be beautiful.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Tom. This was very helpful. Thank you, Vic.
All right, Marie, you call me if you have any questions.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Tom.
All right, be well, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry I was late.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll get you in a commitment form soon. We did open registration at OLM, but I think there's just some administrative concerns. We're just trying to get it all together.
Yeah, whatever you guys need. So,
Definitely.
I'm
I'm sure Chris will reach out too.
yeah, anytime I can help. If I got a call,
Thank you. Tom.
speak with your principal, your pastor.
I think we'll have flexibility. It's just making sure our volunteers are lined up and getting the COVID vaccination cards or the testing. It's,
Right.
Yeah,
Like we were supposed to meet with our coaches tonight and get everybody was supposed to bring last night, but then we canceled because of the impending weather to send back the forms and everything. So,
right.
And get that.
We were trying to have a coaches meeting before the scheduling meeting, but that's no longer on Monday night, the 13th, right?
No, it's not because again, I don't even know the teams. I know I have a team.
Yeah.
You guys have teams.
Yeah, I know. I think we have two, definitely.
I only have one
Wow.
this year, which is
Wow.
I have been so upset. but we're gonna try one more time when school starts next week.
Yeah. School starts now. I mean, our public schools are in and they're registering because
Right.
we started today or yesterday at Park Ridge, so
Right.
we'll be okay.
Yeah,
Hopefully it all
I'm
come
trying to
together.
get a JV team. I'll be heartbroken if I can't.
I know, you guys are awesome, St. Leo's.
Yeah, I'll be heartbroken if I can't.
Oh,
So,
all right, well, here's to praying for
Yeah.
some intervention.
all right, Tam.
All right,
If you
have a
need
great
anything,
night.
please reach
I
out to
will,
me.
I promise.
All right.
You probably will hear from me soon.
No problems.
Thank
I'm
you,
here.
Tom.
You
Thank
got
you
it.
so much.
No
Bye.
problem. Bye-bye.